Test 1 2. All right. So that's.
And he gets to cut anyway. So it's recording now since it's your first time. So don't worry about it. Like right now, we're recording. We can talk, mess around, relax you even more if you want to. It doesn't matter until you're like, okay, I'm cool, because he can always cut when he's going to start. That's why he's going to do a countdown.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we good, and you're beautiful as ever.
Oh, thank you, thank you,
course.
thank you.
You know?
Oh, thank you.
I told you. And she was. Don't you think she should be one of my models when she was?
No,
not now. Not now. But then, when
something I noticed. The pretty people never want to get in front of the camera. It's always the ugly people that want to jump in front of them.
That's so true, man. And that's so true. Before we get to the main subject, that's why, I was like, listen, she needs to be a model. Because most of the people who are modeling, mainly in the business, they're white. And they're ugly. No, for real.
Let's just keep it real.
And the reason why is the prejudice that is so powerful with white folks. That the white folks will not dare let a good-looking white woman get on. That's why they constantly tell all the time, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. But they know they're ugly as I don't know what.
Right.
But somebody,
no, I don't want to agree with you on that.
No, that's
That's
true.
your opinion.
No, that's not an opinion.
Okay.
These are facts about modeling. This is not.
Yeah.
This is a fact, how modeling go. They make them have a certain size and all that kind of stuff. That's upstairs on the third floor, That's why they be complaining, and you hear later they have the horror stories, which is close to what we're going to do today. Like when you see how I'm really getting you ready for what you have to say. We did a podcast with a model who was happening to be professional in white. That's exactly what she would say. That how don't eat,
Something that I noticed, a person like Taylor Swift, she's very talented musician, but they put her on this pedestal of being like beautiful.
Okay.
To me, you're like 100 times more beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's ugly.
Yeah.
Kelsey was ugly. I mean, she is. It's not just coming
She
from.
does put on a good show though. I did security
But this is not coming just from a man's perspective. You have women who know beauty. That's what it is. And if you say, oh, get out of here, we got to make you up, and that's when makeup came. For other women who are natural, then they don't have to, be enhanced. They just come all good. Then the ugly women get in there, and then, they're just like the other, what is that girl, the singer? And then we get ready to start. But she is so ugly, but she can sing. No. What is her name? She won a Grammy for a song. But she is ugly. Like a lot of times after they take off the makeup and stuff, and then you should know. I don't know why I can't think of her name right now, but whatever.
By the way, this right here is a whole show too. This whole topic.
Yeah, this is a different show. We can actually make another show. Just letting you know, because you're not saying much, but you are, and that's fine. All right, we're gonna count down.
So the camera's rolling, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna do a count for 5, 4, 3. All right, everybody. We're back and we're here with the live show, and we have a guest, and of course I have my co-host Mr. Van Stone, and Van is going to take over right now, and he's going to do the interview. Van.
Of course. So welcome everyone. Of course, this is Philly Live. I'm Van Stone, the face behind the voice. This is a little different, a podcast where we're really having a true life segment here. So this is what I've been doing on radio years ago. People would call in, or we would have guests in person, and they would talk, but you wouldn't be able to see the people you would already hear. So that's based on what I originally created, which is called the Van Stone Digest. That was back, when I was married in 1997. And before that, we had Radio Magazine. That's when, I was on the radio stations. And that's what the Radio Magazine was about. It was about a magazine tells a story, real reality, a situation. It could be something major, it could be anything, or education or whatever. But in your case, our guest today, of course, is Veronica Brinkley.
Yes.
The one and only, who's from West Park. That's why I'm saying that, because West Park is a separate entity. It's a neighborhood, but it's even bigger than the neighborhood. Like, so when we grew up, Veronica and I, we grew up together in what's called West Park, 46 and Market. It's a separate entity within all the surrounding neighborhoods, like Powhatan Village. You know, the original Philadelphia, you had neighborhoods. It wasn't just West Philly, it's where in West Philly. So if you were from Brooklyn, it was Brooklyn, Philadelphia. That we have a Brooklyn, Philadelphia, which is close to 46 and Market. And that's an entity where the residents and the community have their own personality there. You know, then you have Juniatic Park if you're down South Philly. Or if you're up here closer, you know, where we have, say, the Larchwood organization. Now I'm coming closer, Spruce Hill. So here we are, Walnut Hill. So each had a radius, certain amount of blocks and stuff that the people belong to that. And they have representatives as well. Believe it or not, and this ties into this interview with you because you were telling the story of how you grew up in primarily West Philadelphia, West Park. You're going to give us some interesting things about this podcast and what we need to know and what it means to grow up in West Philadelphia area. But we have representatives from having a mayor to a council person. That was the original old Philadelphia. Then when the county came into play and they merged into the city, we have Philadelphia County. That's just a little civics to just teach how we grew up as black folks. So we had our own mayor, the mayor of West Park, which we had Miss who was our council representative. They didn't call it council. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going way back. She died, she got sick, she died of cancer. But remember from West Park, the 3 projects, and the other girl that she was over there too in the last minute, who was running the council thing where they would meet with the families and the projects. And then we had the rec room down there, which was where we had our little stuff over there at West Park.
Right.
Holden, you didn't come over there that much to hold stuff, but you were from 300 Busty.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're getting closer and closer now to what this is about. And in that area, unlike other areas, there's a lot of things that was actually happened to families. Several families, 3 projects. So we're from the projects. This is not about the project story, but it's about a powerful individual, Veronica, we call you Ronnie, background, musician, you're a professional singer. I'm just throwing it out there as why is this podcast so important? And we hope to have a series on this, where this will be the first one, Jerry. We would like to have her back. Which one will get better and better? Hopefully like an 8-part series, we don't know, you know, but it depends on the information. But there's going to be some very explosive information about what it's like to grow up in West Park, and the things, you know, that Veronica has experienced. Let's start with your family, because you come from a small family or a large family, or
If you call 5 large, I don't.
okay.
This is a small, well, I can't just say 5. That's just saying me and my sisters.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I have my mother and her brothers and sisters. Of course, of which you know, they were in the earlier part of the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
My grandmother, Raymond,
Right.
Bernadette,
Right.
Sonia,
right.
they were all located in the 400 building, which was
Right,
closer to
right.
Haverford Avenue.
Right.
And actually, we resided there as kids until we got a little older to move into 300 with our mother.
Okay.
But I know the biggest question is today, like, where have I been?
Okay. Yeah, where you been? And you've given me some information for, we can do like a reunion show, even though you don't have a clue what we're talking about on 46 and Market.
Hey, listen, that
But-
could be King Sessions.
Exactly, that's what I'm getting ready to say. But you can still relate because, see, Philly is still Philly. And even what was happening in your neighborhood is the same type of things that happen in our neighborhood. So when we go back, you know, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, where you start in your youth? And then we would jump back so it makes sense.
Well, I was born in 74. So.
Okay, so you're part of the 70s. Okay, so around that time it was just horrible. Still, it was so bad in Philadelphia, even then in the 70s, even though they changed the rules a little bit. I'm just going to throw this out, why this is going to be interesting here what Veronica has to say. In those days in Philly, I mean, man, if someone was to give birth, they couldn't even give birth in a hospital. Now, when we were born, they could. But going just a little bit beforehand, you know, black folks, you had to give birth in a funeral parlor. So this is why we are the way we are today. You know, how all three of us as blacks, you know, we grew up and our life is so different from others so that they can understand this podcast of Veronica's story, where everything is against us. We didn't even have a chance. We wasn't even supposed to live. That if we get born, we're not good enough to even be born in a hospital. We have to be born in a funeral parlor, the same place where they bury people. What's the message for that? And also then the message is, if you needed to go to the dentist or anything else, you didn't go to the dentist, you had to go to the funeral parlor. Now, the only thing was difference is the barbershop. Your barber was not just a person that cut your hair, but the barber handled all the other things. So that's amazing, you know, how we were treated. To finally, you know, we're still fighting in the late 80s and 90s, which leads up to now. What happened and where you've been, Veronica, since getting through all that?
Oh,
you know?
wow. I kind of had to take a back seat with the social media.
Okay.
Because of so-called family, which is why I am doing this interview.
Okay.
It's just a lot that has happened since the last time, you know, we've done business or I've seen you, you know.
Right.
And everything is just not what it's cracked up to be when it comes to family quote.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of turmoil there. And so which it put me on a back seat and really go in hiding a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna just start here. You know, of course, you know, my father had passed away.
Okay.
And that was in the end of 2012, which was November the 2nd.
Okay.
If you didn't know, I'm just going to share this. You know, of course, my father had cancer.
Okay.
And, excuse me, because this is a little hard for me.
Right.
Before cancer hit my father or whatever, my father had a plate in his head. And so he suffered a tragic accident, which was up there on 60th and Sansom.
Okay.
And whereas though a couple of guys had robbed him and beat him down and smashed his skull.
Wow.
Which they told us that he wasn't going to live throughout the night, and if he did, he was going to be a vegetable the rest of his life. Of course, my dad made great strides, and you know, so it's always, I'm not telling anyone to not listen to your doctors, but doctors don't know everything, because my father made a hell of a comeback to where, you know, he didn't quite really know in the beginning who he was or who he was when this accident happened. When this accident happened, he spent, I believe, 2 years in McGee's Rehabilitation Center.
Okay. Wow.
And which they had him marked dead on arrival and brought him back, you know, prior to, getting him to the hospital. I think he went out again where they brought him back and did emergency surgery. Now, during this surgery, during this emergency surgery, he but it paralyzed him all on his right side, I believe. Wow. So, again, he had to go through a lot of changes, and where he was at, I was proud of him, because again, it went to not knowing, or whatever was there, it was coming back as if he was a little boy.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So my father, of course, he worked for the city, which is the sanitation department, and he worked with them for over 30 years. So he went out on early disability and early retirement. Which, again, his mother became power of attorney over his assets.
Okay. His mom.
Yes.
Grandma.
Yes.
Okay.
Ruth Grant. And so during that time, it was a pretty messed up time. You know, at that time, Ruth had ordered, Ruth Grant had, it was a woman named, well, not named, like was, I don't mean to speak in past tense. Tracy, but I'm not sure Tracy's last name, but I have a sister named Precious.
Okay.
And my grandmother kind of appointed her to be in the house to look after him.
Okay.
During that time. And so...
Let me ask you a question right here and there. So during this time that you're speaking, when all of the medical situation, you were adult at this time? Are we catching up to where you were adult at
when
this time?
this accident happened,
Yeah,
I was a young adult, about 18.
Okay.
To be exact.
That's very important, you know, because now you're an adult now, so you could basically pitch in, help in, if the opportunity was available. But you got this family.
Which I did.
Right.
You know, when I used to live with my father in them stages where it was like kind of bad off. It was a little funny, some certain things he would do. Like, for instance, one day I came home and the room was blue. But when I came back, wherever I went, but when I came back, I walked into like this loud orange.
Okay. Wow.
And I'm like, what did you do to my room?
Okay.
But a part of that sickness with the plate and everything, whatever his mind told me to do, he would do it.
Okay.
And I guess it was a lot of challenge for him. He was a lot frustrated.
Oh, so he did the painting.
Yeah, but...
Wow. Wow, okay.
And I like...
Got a hold of some paint.
I'm like, why would you do this?
Right.
And he was like, Ronnie, it was in my mind, so I did it.
Right, wow, okay.
He meant well, but
Right.
it was just frustrating for him trying to remember or be who he used to be.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Let's just say that.
All right.
And I kind of want to jump off of that and speed it up a little bit.
Okay.
And so, again, later on, my dad made great strides in order to like take care of himself on his own. You know, I didn't need Tracy anymore, and he even went back to get his driver's license under handicap.
Wow.
And yes,
Okay.
and where they said he wouldn't do anything or remember anything anymore. So, you know, he managed to do some things on his own, but not iffy about the things that was current.
Okay.
Which if you ever came in his house, like his dining room table, it was full of mail.
Okay.
Because he had to remind himself
Right,
with
exactly.
different things what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And so I was there to help. And when cancer came, I was living on 49th and Reno.
Okay.
And my mother, I had just got laid off because I was working down there at the Academy of Natural Science.
Okay.
And so she called me down the street and let me know that my father cancer had came back.
Wow.
We thought that when he had it before that he beat it.
Right.
Then it came back.
Right.
And so I was asked to, because I didn't have, and I never had children, of course.
Okay.
And I just got laid off, that I was the only one that was free to, you know, do
Come in
this.
to be a caretaker.
Right. So without a question, no doubt, I packed everything up and moved up, put a lot of things in storage, which I lost. My dad was a hoarder.
Right.
You don't complain about materialistic things when, you know, life is on the line.
Right.
Materialistic things you can always get over.
Correct.
Over and
Things change.
over. But you got those same materialistic things where some people, like morals and values, is not even about their humanity anymore. It's about the finances.
Correct.
And when it's like that, it's bad because you're like dealing with a soulless person. you don't care about nothing but money, and you would do anything
Of course.
to have it and keep it, which about to bring me to this topic.
And before you go to this topic, which this is his house that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And this house, you moved in with him.
6028 Osage
I was
Avenue.
going to say what area, but you already said the address.
I don't
Okay.
mind saying that.
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying. I was just going to say where, what area. Okay, so that's here.
The Cobbs Creek section.
Well, Cobb Street. West Philadelphia, Cobb Street, which is what I talked
Actually,
about earlier.
right. Actually,
Street.
my father, to be, I didn't mean to jump back there,
Yeah, that's fine.
but I'm
Yeah.
about to. My father, before 60th and Osage, he was on 62nd in Osage.
Okay.
In fact, he was right next door to the Move People, which is Ramona, Africa.
Wow.
So
that's
it's a lot of
whole nother story.
history, yeah.
There you
It's
go.
a whole lot.
Okay, the move and what happened to them. He was near that area, but
Yes.
moved over a little bit to Osage.
Yes.
Wow.
In fact, I guess my father got word that with the city that something was going
Yeah,
to
that
go
was-
down.
that was a long
but
time.
I don't think nobody knew to the extent that they would blow a whole block up.
Right. So and this is the era when the mayor was a black mayor, the first black mayor.
Wilson Good was sitting in
Yeah,
the
I just
seat.
want to throw that out for this story, you know, and right, Wilson Good who bombed, you know, our own people. But go ahead, he green lighted that, and then your father wasn't far from there.
Right.
So now we're going to jump right back into
Okay.
that important piece. But I appreciate that because that
Sure.
was important to bring.
You
that
gotta forgive me. Getting old is not what I signed up for.
Nah.
And when these sweats happen, I just gotta deal with it. Yes, it's frustrating.
Yeah. All right.
So bear with me for a minute
No problem.
while I try to cool down.
Right. And while you're trying to cool down.
In fact, do you have any bottled water here?
Yeah, Jerry, could you grab a bottle for us? And while you're trying to cool down, I can talk just a little bit about what happened with the move and Wilson
Thank
Good, you know, the first black mayor and so forth and so on. And how, you know, once again, this is what I'm saying has to do with how we were, the impact, that's the key word. How did that mayor impact us?
Ooh.
In a terrible way.
Yes, it is.
You know, because regardless of what those people's beliefs were, they're humans.
They're human.
and
Nobody.
they're black.
First of all, it was like 7 kids in that
Yeah.
house, and that was the saddest thing ever.
Yeah.
Nobody. And here's another thing: just because they chose to live the way that they wanted to live, their culture,
Correct.
it didn't deserve a cause for that.
Right.
But I don't want to get deep into
No,
that.
that's perfect. That's what
Why?
brings you back.
I'm gonna say why, because certain people might not take highly of this conversation and
Okay.
city being looked at. You know, well, let's try to shut this channel down. You know.
No, that don't happen because this is Van Stone and this is a Van Stone brand. Oh, they know, you know. So this is a brand. This is what we do. And
Right.
of course, that's why you're coming to me, which I appreciate. Even though we're like family, but just the fact that you want the best resource to get your story out, reliable, and of course our viewers. And by the way, that gives me a segue to mention we have up to 1 million viewers now. Since I haven't talked to you in a long time ago. So oh yeah, we have platforms, viewers, listeners, and all the channels. So now let's get right back because you was getting into the main thing was about to happen with your dad.
Okay, so of course.
And you moving in.
Of course,
Okay.
without a question, without a doubt, didn't have to persuade me to do that.
Right.
That's my father.
Correct. Okay.
And when she told me instantly, I packed up everything. Again, some things went in storage.
Okay.
And I moved in to take care of my dad.
Okay.
And I think anybody that loved their parents, there's no question what you will do and will not do.
Right.
And it was never a problem. So I moved in around, that was in 2009.
Okay. 2009.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was my father's caretaker. So from radiation, chemo treatments, cooking, cleaning, you know, the whole shebang.
Right, exactly.
You know, I was there 10 toes down.
And that's why we didn't see you. Remember originally we started this podcast? We should call it Veronica, where have you been? Or Ronnie, where have you been? Like you said.
Well,
because, you know, I
when
know
my
you were
father
active.
died, the last time you saw me,
Right.
my father had just passed away like a year and a half ago. And we actually started doing business. What was that, in 2014 or something?
Right. But I'm
Yeah.
saying even previously.
I was staying over there on Master Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even previously, I haven't seen you in years.
Right.
But now it's filling in for everybody that need to know where you
Okay.
were, you know, at this time.
Well, I kinda-
And let me share this with them because it's very important. You have a professional music career. So you're leaving that out. You know, you've entertained with, you're a professional musician, you're a vocalist, you know, you could have had an album and so forth and so on. We'll talk about probably that on the next part
Okay.
podcast. But they need to know this because you actually put aside all of those opportunities with all those, from the Philadelphia sound to outside of Philly, you know, you've been with many of the top musician producers and so forth and so on.
Right.
And I was wondering, you know, I knew you could sing, you know what I'm saying? And of course, me being active at that time, we didn't see you. And
Okay.
now this all makes sense. So this is also for West Park because you are part of the icons of West Park. A long time ago, and I'm not changing the subject.
Okay.
I'm right on point, which is going to help you to jump right in. Because we're going to try to condense this, keep it short, and then we'll do it again so we keep them wondering. You know
Not
what
a
I mean?
problem.
But that's how, you know, normally our podcast is about a half an hour, but we may go over a little bit, but it's okay because it's getting juicy now. Because not only are you attractive.
Oh, wow.
This
Thank
is
you
important,
again.
though. Now listen, many people grew up from the projects. By the time they get 18, they're one and done. Their whole visual is gone. Everything because of the life. And yet, look at what you were able to do and what you're doing now, and you still are in great shape. And then what they need to know as a professional musician, vocalist, from high range, so forth and so on. You know, you're a writer. You can do
I love to
poetry
write.
and all.
I
you know,
love to
things like
write.
that. So
But I haven't had a chance to get into my creativity.
correct.
And this is why I kind of backed up.
Right.
I even got off of Facebook, which Facebook I never wanted to get on. I was encouraged by you.
Yes,
to-
I got you on that. That's right. As a media specialist, I'm like, what are you doing? Get over here. And you're like, no.
No,
But you've
no.
been humble like that all the time. And thank you for taking my suggestion where you belong because at that time, Facebook was still good.
What I loved about it is because, again, I got to connect with a lot of
Correct.
people I haven't saw in
Yes.
years. So
Yes.
that was good.
Right. Which brought us back to reunions that West Park used to have. So,
Oh, we had if you can remember, and that was held in the back of the castle, where, the castle was located in
the middle?
between, in the middle of all the buildings.
right. Hold it
But we
300,
had
400.
our first Unity Day.
Unity Day.
That was
exactly.
held.
That's another story.
Yeah.
Again, Unity Day, in which they don't even talk about that. So that's why I'm excited. I do believe this is going to be a very good podcast because you're able to bounce back and forth and give some true history that's been missing. We're talking about the Lee Cultural Center. That's a whole other thing. They can Google search that.
Now, Lee's Culture Center,
okay.
you know, as a little kid, I was, always excited about my music. And
Correct.
along with being, I was into the sports,
Okay.
like my tennis, my swim meet with Boston.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Okay. See, now it's coming out.
I was
now.
on a softball team with
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
And
yes.
so, but Lee's.
Wait, you was on a softball team too?
Yes,
So,
I played second shortstop.
wow. And this is now you're getting loose and comfortable now. This is the history that they need to know. Like I said, West Park, go back, Lee Culture Center, Lee
Yes.
Playground, condensed, and of course Veronica Brinkley.
That's
and she
it.
was
Look.
Ronnie, who was an athlete and a female athlete at that, who played tennis, softball. Swimming? Mm-hmm. You know, I never made the swim team.
Oh, wow.
So, no, I wasn't good enough. No, I'm for real. So what I'm trying to say is who you are and what you did back then. The athletics that
I was
we
very
had,
athletic.
we were and still are for some of us who can still do a little bit.
Because I got my tennis rackets and all. Yeah, I'd be ready to go.
But we were before our time. That's my whole point. You know, the Brinkley's a large family. I'm going to say 5 is large. And the name Brinkley is still a good name based on you carrying that name. Okay. Well, hey, I'm telling the story on this side. Just giving the history side.
I won't. Okay? I don't think so much of it after you hear some things
I'm just talking about
say.
you. Well, you're going to say those things, but I'm talking about you as a Brinkley. You carry.
Actually, I don't even carry that anymore, but I choose not to put my married. Oh, for those who didn't know, yes, your girl got married.
Congratulations.
I don't even know if I should congratulate it because I'm ready to do some other things, but that's another time.
Yes,
another topic.
This is going to really get good, and so how we're going to relax it. There's a lot of history. We mentioned a lot of different things, which is historic locations. We've got, once again, West Park, 46th and Market. We have the Lee Culture Center, aka the Lee Playground, 44th in Haverford.
I believe his name was Leon.
Okay.
Which was the director of Lee's Culture Center.
We're going way back, Mr. Leon.
Well, it was crazy because that's how I was starting to get my music out there as a little girl. I threw talent shows in the neighborhood.
That's right. and not just the neighborhood, but inside the
Lee's Culture Center.
Correct.
He allowed me to use his auditorium.
Yes.
And back then, you know, it ain't like today where economy is like, oh, this is like sky high. Back then, we still had penny candy.
Correct, yes.
Ain't no such thing as penny candy today.
Right.
But I went to him, I couldn't have been no more than probably like 7 or
7 years old,
probably.
super talented then.
Yeah.
At 7.
So I went to him, because I was in camp around there.
Correct, right.
I was getting my little juicy juice, apple juice in my sandwiches.
That's right. There you go.
So I went inside there, and I never forget the look on his face when he started crying. Because he thought, well, I asked him, I said, listen, Mr. Leon, I said, I was just wondering, I said, I'll pay you, you know. He's like, what are you trying to say, Veronica? I said, I want to have a talent show and use the auditorium.
Right.
And I want to like hire people in the neighborhood to come, well, you know, come do the little practice before the actual day.
Right.
Because if you can remember the pop locking and all the break dancing, that was out there. With my talent, again, those are all in the art field.
Okay.
Which is graffiti, the break dancing, all that's considered art, as well as singing. That's a part of art.
So this is what we're going to do. In the next 3 minutes, because the podcast, and we always can separate also. You know, I don't know, Jerry didn't come back, but we would like you to come back. Maybe ask a question since you started in the interview, if that's okay, or you want me to just go and do a 3-minute closing for this podcast. What do you want me to do?
You can do a 3-minute closing. I'm actually monitoring the audio.
Okay. So because you're going to come back and we're going to do a series of this.
All right. Well, let me get this out first before you do the closing.
Right. In the next 3 minutes, what do you want to get out?
The reason why this is so important to me, because my life was on the line. And when it comes to so-called family and money, this is really, I really wanted to put this out there to the point it had me even go as far as to sell my home to get away from all the drama and all the people that they were hiring to attack me and hurt me. And this is all over some insurance money.
All right. Let's get into that. You can still do it in less than 2 minutes. Right, go ahead.
Well, as everybody knows, Camille, which my sister Camille has always been and we coming up, she was in everything, as they say, as my mother would say. My daughter is in everything except the hers.
Okay, wow. Okay.
To the point, one time, when I was just entering to the 7th grade, which was at Sayre Junior High School, and this is how what's going on today is like history repeating itself, because you would actually, I always craved for love and attention from her, which she never gave me.
Okay.
That was given to my sisters at different points of their lives.
Okay.
And
You say your mom never gave you?
no, we have never been close.
Okay.
Not that I didn't want to be, it was just who she was.
Right.
I begged for it, I cried.
I understand that.
But I just never got it.
Okay.
But I never think that it would get to the point that you would have y'all all would have me harmed over this money.
Okay.
And so, let me just say this here. When it comes to my father and Camille, again, was in everything and never really did any jail time for it. She got lucky. If anything, she was at a county jail.
Okay. Wow.
For the crimes that she has committed.
Okay.
But I'm here to set the record straight because of what's been done to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me pause you for 1 second.
Okay.
I have a question, Jerry. Can we continue, right, and start the next part 2 while it's rolling, and then somewhere in between, are you able to cut that before we start another one? That's possible? Edit? Okay, I just want to make sure, because now she's really getting into it, so I'm gonna let her go, and we'll do a part 2 here now. So this is a 2-part. Viewers, listeners, we're about to take a break. We'll come right back into part 2. We're here with Veronica Brinkley, of course, from West Philadelphia, Van Stone, Faith Kind of Voice, of course, my man Jerry Wilson, who's our engineer guy, and of course, we run Philly Live. You're going to stick with us, or if you missed this one, viewers, catch us on the next side. We're going to come with the next piece for a series. We're trying to run a series, let you guys know about the history of what's going on with Veronica Brinkley.
Absolutely.
And we're about to get into the juicy part because it's all about family. Betrayal, her father, a household, and after the passing.
Well, I don't even like to say passing because my sister has always been jealous of me for whatever reason. I always known it, but
do me a favor.
Okay.
We're gonna hold that thought. I'm gonna do a countdown so that it makes sense. So then he can cut. So at this point, we're concluding part 1, first episode, and stick with us and come back for the next one.